Well, we definitely saw glimpses of that earlier in the tournament. It was fnatic that ran into him on Mirage. RPK, though, breaking the deadlock, drawing the first blood in our best of three. And Device will come straight back in and make sure the tank has been decommissioned, at least momentarily. They can pick and choose where they go next. They don't have to fully commit or force their way in. And Glaive is getting information for his teammates, and maybe if he can cull one of these defenders, the likes of Shox, that opens up a lot of leeway to push onto the site. That's exactly what comes into play. And now Astralis spill out onto A site.
This is a beautifully played pistol round from Astralis. Like, we know that Glaive isn't always calling anymore. It seems like he's put his extra time into being Mr. Sneaky, because he's managed to get right in behind them, do the damage onto the one remaining defender, even pull some of the rotations over to the other side of the map. But it's their T side. That's where they've been able to pull off so many rounds, the switch ups in pace, just how dynamic there are. It's a fast attempt. I like the change. Just rush into the site. You know that's going to be a little bit cagey for Vitality in these sort of moments, only getting their first purchase on the board, and you having some SMGs. So you just run in, body them. They took a lot of damage along the way, but it really doesn't matter. And this is the one thing that makes Nuke somewhat depressing a little bit as a commentator.
And the decision-making from Astralis with their two MAC-10s, we touched on this in the previous round about how they could just throw them into the gauntlet. And plus, when you're against a team like Vitality with zywoo, you know at every given opportunity, he's probably picking up the AWP. And he decides at the perfect moment to actually back off. And because of the flashbangs and the smokes that he's hearing being tossed out, he can call to the rest of his teammates that they're here. They also may not anticipate him to be up close because he fell back. And it's 1 kill and 90 damage to S attack.
That was a tough correction. That was unlucky not to get anything else from it. RPK, though, rotates and drops the bomb more importantly. He's going to force a push and actually manages to get a second. He may even catch the second player picking the bomb up. Unfortunately, S-Tag is going to be able to cross back into the site. Device even wins a battle with the Deeg. And now it's a battle of the low HPs. Just 33 remaining across the whole board. And while, unfortunately, the 3 of RPK is gone.
Damage, actually, as dupree's toes get singed. And in doing so, he can fall back with a smoke in hand, but he comes out second best against Glaive. Apex gets Device, not anticipating the garage peak. Vitality maintain their player advantage, but the T's are now spilling downstairs. Shox with the AWP holds the line, and that could and should be good enough to yield the round.
On plant looking likely, but Astralis, they wanted to try and find something back into the round before allowing presence to be had. And the problem is they're being closed in from all different angles. dupree's going to have to do something fairly impressive, but Apex, he's facing the wrong way. It might be the tank to actually take the brunt of this peak. He's expecting dupreee still to be there, and now they're going to try and pressure him together. The first is clean, though, and he gets back down the stairs. Another one for dupreee. It's left all onto Shox to try and stop this man. He's been very impressive so far, and while Shox is tagged down to just 39 HP, he also doesn't have the kit, so the time is ticking too far gone. dupreee can just play with his food at this point, and there is nothing Shox can do. dupreee is not going to let him escape. He'll go down to the bomb if it means he gets rid of this man. 7-0. Fantastic round from Astralis, and specifically dupreee.
With a bit of aggression to meet the oncoming Danes, and zywoo is the spearhead behind this operation with his AWP. First one goes his way. There's no teeth to really counteract, but Glaive again comes in with entries, and there's 2 of them. Right idea. Nearly takes down zywoo. If he peeked in a little bit more aggressively, he would have also fallen. So again, zywoo gets the opening pick, and again, Astralis comes straight back in. Device takes the head off Shox. Vitality already have to just tap out and save. And they're down 7-0, Tom.
I love
a nightmare.
And it's not down to openness. It's not down to anything else. We're just seeing incredible performances across the board. Device is running riot. It really is. It's more like zywoo at this point. Like, he's gunning for at least that number 2 spot in the world. This is meant to be the 2 best teams in the tournament fighting against each other. This is not, this like looking like an opening group match. Like, Astralis just having a bit of fun, running riot. Sure, this is a map that they're fantastic at, but as said, like, Vitality have looked really good, and they're just getting domed. There's no duel they can take. Shox, Masuta, okay, here we go. They didn't get the opening duel this time, but seemingly it doesn't matter. zywoo's also found a 3rd, but Device is still alive and kicking. This might be one of the closer rounds, and just because it's Astralis in a 2v4.
Device, 20 seconds, coming up through heaven. Looks like A will be the side of choice. They have Magisk also making moves in A main. The timing probably working against the Danes. Device comes down, masuta takes his head off, and there we go. Vitality, they've secured their first round, and what they're hoping is one of many.
So anything from here, anything more, and I'm pretty much calling this one GG. Like, they'd have to be incredible. Nice start though from zywoo. Oh, okay, an even better one. He's looking for a third kill. If he gets that too, then we've got to start checking that mouse and gaming chair. But the fact is, he may have done the job already. Apex already on the lower bomb site. They're ready for this push. He's had a bit of a rough start, and it's not getting any better. He was waiting for them to come through the doors, and still Glaive finds the frag.
Bomb has been planted.
Getting deja vu, Tom. I'm getting deja vu. zywoo's picked up 2 to kick the round off. And Vitality 3v4 with a weakened Glaive, but good post-plant positions taken by the T's. It's one-dimensional on the retake. That grenade shreds RPK, zywoo and masuta, softens them up, and now they have to push through. Half of the bomb time is down. Now Magisk has dealt with one of the threats, and the Danes stand their ground, and they are looking infallible. Great smokes, great utility, and a great hold to boot. Vitality have conceded another horrific round. This was a 3v5, and they let it slip.
Oh, no!
Maybe able to take away the remainders. Masuta just about holds on to save the AWP.
He's been fairly successful with his aggression outside so far, but down to just 11 HP. P counts, he's going to get Magisk. Now, can we get the stat back on track? They've been good at winning rounds with him getting the opener so far, but the trades come back on A once again. A 3v3, a better scenario for them, but dupreeh, I don't even want to know his headshot percentage at this point. He's been so clinical in these rounds. It's one of the best performances I think I've seen from him in a while. He's been unreal. And Shox has got a save again.
And Vitality, they're simply buckling. Like, they cannot withstand the pressure at all. They're hoping for some alleviation. They get it momentarily when zywoo surgically removes 2 players with the AWP or gets the first pick.
That is... that's unreasonable. I don't want to say unbelievable. There's so many words that you could put in this case. It's unreasonable. Like, that shouldn't be a thing. RPK, he's trying to take things into his own hands. I like it. Tanks aren't normally known for their speed, but that was a pretty swift entry from him. Another man advantage, another round that should be good, but a nade combo with Magisk AK. And, well, we're straight back into problematic waters once more.
Astralis, have a little bit of mercy, please. Have a bit of chill. Shox is now just being decapitated, and although some aggression round the back of Vitality maybe yields them dichotomy where the CTs rotate behind the Ts, where we have both sides exchange teams multiple times. RPK now straight into Glaive. There's the drop from Apex, and the last player remaining will be dupreeh, who's in unbelievable form, and he takes them both down in a split second.
Peak dupreeh, just don't mess with him. Just DC, just leave, just head home. Most of them probably already at home, but leave and then come back home. Device, he's still going. zywoo puts an end to his reign of terror, but there's still 4 more players they've got to deal with. RPK again is going to give them the man advantage, but that never seems to last too long. And again, it swings back into the favor. They need to kill off S-Tag, but he's got round the corner, and just look at the quick swing coming out. Magic's trying to help him. Shox now left alone. Can he finally put another round? A second at least possible, and there we go. Vitality will at least make it 2 as the half comes to a close, but Astralis, no one's even come close. That's what Fnatic did. They managed to win Dust 2 when it was picked, so you never know. Maybe that's the new play versus this roster. We'll see. Maybe Vitality have something truly phenomenal on the T side. Device, though, gonna have to switch guns. I thought for a second he'd get away with that, but it doesn't even seem to matter too much. Magisk has found a trade elsewhere. Apex gonna wait for him to reload and try and be a bit sneaky through the smoke, but it doesn't matter. Another kill comes up. zywoo trying to pull out some magic, try and give his team a lifeline, and they desperately need it, Vince.
Oh my god. I feel like I need to report this to this police, honestly, Tom. Like, I'm witnessing a crime or something. Like, this is absolutely outrageous. But even then, it's incredibly grim. Some Deagles, you've got a scout, and if they concede this, there'll be 13 map points. Magisk spraying into Hut, not really spotting anybody. Glaive round the corner, getting himself one, sees the shadow of that secondary player, and we'll go back in for more. RPK getting tagged from outside, and Apex tries desperately to force the play onto the side, but he has been drilled by the M4, and the same is happening. Additionally, 2 shocks. It feels to me, Tom, that we're headed to Dust 2 very shortly.
Yeah, no, I think I'd agree. We've seen recently on Twitch a lot of VODs getting deleted. I think this one might be tagged as not safe for work, and they'll have to remove that as well. Because this is, well, I feel uncomfortable watching this, I'll be honest. This is one of the most destructive. They're trying to spam them through the walls of garage. Oh, shocks. I'd love you to win this round, truly, but it's just not going to happen. 15-2.
Didn't you have money for that? That's the really depressing thing, isn't it? They're taking a ton of damage outside. Device up close with the FAMAS looking to put the final nails into the coffin of Nuke. But RPK, at least with the Deagle, will pose a bit of a threat. Getting round the back, he's been one of the top fraggers on Vitality. Goes in for another one, and there's Shock. So, okay. Maybe there's some inroads left yet. Apex, aggression, looking to return the favor. Astralis was so rapid on their T-half. And now it's their turn to have to deal with that bit of medicine. Tag goes down, and that is at least the 3rd round for Vitality. If nothing else, they're playing for a bit of pride at this point, and it seems like G2...
They're not even going to sort of warm up into the second one, whereas Astralis will just go in with ridiculous confidence. They like running straight through multiple smokes outside Dupree. He's been ridiculous so far, but you know what? It seems like there's finally a little bit of a punish. That AK on device, though. The scary prospect, but Apex slowly dragging himself back into the map. It's looking like it will be a 5th round unless S-Tag and Magisk can turn the tide.
Sneaking his way up via vent, spots shocks, dishes the fatal blow. All 3 of Vitality, though, are healthy. No easy targets to pick off. Apex, the only one of the 3 that's got a frag, and although Magisk does hold on against RPK, hold on a second. Is it going to be another 2v4 clutch? Masood has had a quiet game so far, just 45 ADR to his name, but he could make amends here. If he can clutch this one out, but he goes down, and Astralis with another 2v4. The punch straight to the gut, as they've done multiple times, and Vitality have got to be gutted.
Crumbling, like especially over the last like 6 to 8 months. At the same time, they've still got to get to the final. So I'm still looking at them to give a damn good fight, and that's already a good start in the pistol round. Apex is going to kill off the aggressor of Glaive. Device also very low, and now they're going to look to try and pincer onto this A site. And S-Tag has a mountain to climb. There's no chance for him here. Sure, they've lost 2v4s, they've lost 3v5s. I don't think they lose this pistol round, Vince.
They haven't lost a 2v5 yet, but Dupree is putting a lot of damage down, and he picked up 20 kills in the first map, so tread lightly. But they do triple peak him, so it's good to see them come straight out swinging and getting some success. Apex, though, has come out worse for wear in this trade against Device, and then gets picked off through the double doors. Well, you can scrap all of that momentum, because now it's been spun back around in the face of Vitality. They find themselves a player behind.
Flashbang will leave man just completely blind. The second one's even better, though. S-Tag with the Deeg has managed to find a couple. He's never going to expect him. Oh my goodness, it is very short-lived for the side of Vitality.
So if they can put these down range successfully, then things could get interesting. Ooh. And speaking of which, Device has had his head removed. Apex spotting the second player, flicking across, taking off the head of S-Tag. The executioner of Apex is putting this round in the hands of Vitality, and only Shocks has fallen as a result. But the bomb, look where the bomb is. The other side of the map.
Oh, he's seen it now for sure. He must have done. This could be a problem. Like, Dupree's now managed to find one more. Zywoo is trying to sneak his way back around. Still only has a Deagle. They should pincer in onto Glaive. There should be no hope. And RPK just making sure that he has the kill down. Now, Dupree of Dupree, He's trying to play a bit of a headshot angle. He's going to hit the footsteps. There's only 10 seconds left for the flash. It's perfect. Good work from Vitality. I think a crucial round for them, really. Jox is trying to make as much noise as humanly possible. In fact, he's even going to get rid of one of the AKs. A smart decision, but he almost gets caught out while switching guns. They line up so close for Glaive to get a double. He's going to take one down while completely blind, and he's being pressured by Masuta. He can't quite take him out. But he may have done enough. The bomb's rotated in, but they have to be patient, and Shox is gone. It's left all onto the youngster, the rookie left alone, and S-Tag won't give him a second's notice. It's 2-2. It's back and forth.
Bit of damage, but nothing really going to stick too hard. S-Tag spraying down the two of them, and RPK and zywoo stand their ground. Open up business on long. Dupree with a flashbang accompanying him, doing a lot of damage, but running out of ammunition and health. And with his loss of life, plus Device dying on the bomb, Vitality, not just with a player advantage, but now have control over the bomb site itself. Now the smoke's starting to clear. Glaive is having a quick look across, clearing his angles in the process. Mages coming under fire. They know one of the two CTs is perched up at the bottom side of the ramp, but he's actually drilled RPK to the bottom.
What?
Mages with a one dig and then goes in for a second onto Shox. It's going to be close. No, actually, it won't. They've got a kit. Astralis with a beautiful retake. They did more of the same here. Long again, the battlefield that both teams have elected, but it only will be Glaive alone. Good place utility, fends off S-Tag, but a molly frag through the smoke onto RPK. A 2-for-2 trade. S-Tag tries to go back in for more, but now the AK is starting to rip through on long. And even though Dupree will hold B site, what he may not realize is that both players are there together and the smoke is starting to clear. He will be tried, he will be tested. They have a kit, they have a Molotov. Beautiful flashbang tossed in, keeps them at arm's reach. zywoo changes up his angles but gets put down, and now it's down to Shox, but Device comes straight out, lands the AK frag. They've got a kit, they'll have the defuse, and Astralis bring us back to even again. He is carving a path through the Frenchman towards Astralis leading again. zywoo peeking up middle, simultaneously Shox comes in. He was the best performing player on Nuke. And a pretty rough bunch if we're being honest. And Glaive's got a fourth. He could be on for the ace, but zywoo takes it away from him. 30 seconds. Low HP, has the bomb, but no idea as to where the remaining CTs are. Flicking up into the head of Device. He has enough time to feasibly clutch this. And S-Tag is the last line of defense on A. He'll be playing this one a little bit more passively, a little bit more patiently. Hell, just give this fight away to zywoo. Wait for the cavalry to arrive. Make sure you double peek him. Simultaneously, zywoo so nearly lands the no-scope, but on 1 HP, he's still alive. He's still here. He's still kicking. And you cannot disrespect this man because he will punish you. Storm zywoo comes in and leaves nothing but carnage in his wake. That's outrageous.
Truly unbelievable. And while the reward they get after finally breaking their opponent's economy is an eco. We're in round 11, and this is the first eco we've seen.
They do still exist, Tom. I wouldn't fault you for believing that maybe ecos are a thing of the distant past, but trust me, they're very much real. Okay, we've had this back and forth scrappy affair. Now the T's are building a bit of an economy, Astralis. What do you have to say to that? What is your retort? It's going to be long control. Flashbangs are good on both sides, though. Both teams being flashed simultaneously, and it comes out pretty even. But that equality's been taken away from Mages, spraying up through the smoke while S-Tag is laid in wait. Excellent hold. Only one casualty. There is the retort. And it's decisive, it's clear, it's resounding. No, he's had a lot of scouts, but no AWP. It's just because the economy's been so busted, but maybe they can start to get themselves back into this. Now, it's another great hold. 4 kills unanswered. Astralis were down. Maybe a little bit of motivation lost with that crazy clutch, but they're bouncing back with a bang. as he comes round. There's a smoke in his eyes. How quickly can Vitality spring into action? Orp shot narrowly missing Dupree. He will live to tell the tale. 30 seconds left. Now the smoke's being put down. Not fully investing or pushing in behind this. Shox goes in before the rest of his teammates, and Magisk on the low HP, proving that this Orp is in safe hands. He's already taken down 2, and he's shooting just to the left-hand side of the oncoming terrorist. 15 seconds, and Dupree needs to hold the line, and he holds it in style for the first. But Apex and zywoo still standing, still delivering before Device gets a wallbang shot through straight in, forcing zywoo in a 1-on-3. He has no time, he has no life. Astralis will lead comes the second half, 8-7. They have 2 smokes at their disposal, now being tossed for the cross. And now they can look to try and wrap straight through. zywoo, how is your aim? On point as always, even while flashbangs. He gets 1, now spinning around into action, activating, and it's nothing but headshots to zywoo. Again, a 4K, an 8th round to Vitality, and Astralis have been comprehensively beaten down.
Somebody should start building the set for map number 3 because zywoo is alive and kicking.
Masuda going in first, trying to take some of the early damage and the brunt of it away from Shox, so they can maybe pivot in. Mollies, flashes, smokes, all being tossed in, and no one's checked the tight left, and Masuda's going to punish them. 3 kills, and now Shox can just spray in with the FAMAS. It's nearly a clean sweep. Excellent work from Masuda, but Astralis uncharacteristically make a mistake and don't check one of their angles, and they get punished.
He's a bit stuck here. I wouldn't like to be in his position, that's for sure.
They will check him. They will frag him. Never really stood a chance. Had he have got 1 kill for his troubles, that would have been a bit of a miracle, let alone withstanding both. Shox, using those smokes, was hoping his teammate could come up and do a little bit more, and even though the dink does connect onto Dupree, a 3K to the Dane, the Demolisher on Nuke, allows him to stay alive a little bit longer, but he has to fend off against Apex and RPK. Molotov put down affords him safe passage for the plant. Another Molotov. He just wants to rotate and mix up his angles, get a little bit difficult to deal with. A little bit unpredictable, perhaps. Dupree flicking across, misses his spray, and that probably is the chance that goes with it. And RPK holds on with his AK. Vitality regained the lead.
Good round from him on long. He's been a little bit quiet so far. Well, I guess you could say in this series, because the first map didn't exactly go to plan. zywoo, though, second map, he's been anything but. He's looking to try and style on them. Device will at least close him out, but the damage is done. S-Tag, Magic, trying to close this one out, trying to bring this back, but, well, there'd have to be some pretty serious mistakes from Vitality if they were to.
Yeah, this feels like it would be more Vitality losing the round than S-Tag necessarily winning it. But the second comes around this corner, Shox with a perfect crosshair placement does dispatch him post-haste. 12-10.
The tease to at least gain a little bit of extra ground before they do go rushing into the site. The flashbang leaves one blind, but Masuda sat in the corner. He's the surprise. He's the man sneaking around in the backlines, but Dupree will deal with him. Shox needs to hold the line. He's done a great job so far, but he has been tagged low. And in fact, S-Tag's come up with 2 Tech 9s. Vintage fnatic coming out of the Dane. And now, while zywoo and RPK do have the better weaponry, the nade even being dropped in, but the bomb just being faked. In fact, even an incendiary trying to push Device back. He's going to get burned out the corner. In fact, he goes down, and zywoo finds a second. It's left all onto Dupree. He's so low, the nade might dunk out zywoo, but it doesn't quite reach. And Device, it all fell apart, went completely wrong for him.
zywoo perched just next to the cart. Flashbang will allow them to go for that quick peek. Whether RPK can hold on to some kills or yet to be seen, he gets the 1. Even while Flashbanged still holds his nerve. And now 20 seconds to go. It is looking grim. It's looking bleak for Astralis. Their woes continue on Dust 2. And they are struggling to contend with the threat of Vitality. 5 map points. And Astralis will make the most of it. They run in. Glaive picks up the AWP, puts it downrange onto Apex, changes up his angles. A miss from middle may cost Vitality at least one of these map points. They're still in this, but Astralis are hemorrhaging health from both Essetag and Glaive, and they look to relocate. They look to push in. mousesports, though, is taking the initiative, pushed straight out of tunnels. Not a play that they've gone for just yet, and he gets the reward with 2, and it could be a 3rd, even if he goes down. Surely this is the map-winning play. And Dupree holds his nerve, but he's only got 11 HP left. And because of how long that skirmish lasted, the rotation comes in from zywoo, and it's going to be Shox that actually nullifies him. It's going to overpass, Tom. 1 apiece.
Yes, this will be a 3rd map thriller.
Slowing it down somewhat, the bulk of their aggression coming through in Playground, where they will meet Shox. But Essetag will be contending against 2 aggressive players. He gets put down by mousesports, who really had a resurgence in form on that Dust 2. Second best player statistically on Vitality. And now the top fragger of zywoo is moving into bathrooms, but he's not called upon because Shox is locking it down single-handedly. Knocking Glaive down to 7 HP, still standing, still delivering. Shox with a 3K. And when Astralis tried to breathe a sigh of relief after the initial bloodshed went in their favor, but the Danes are waiting patiently just outside of B. And some good counter nades being tossed in. This will stall the push a little bit longer. mousesports gets antsy. He looks and he finds the information he was trying to attain, but it's at the cost of his life, and that's not going to be worth it.
zywoo under pressure, but he's patient. He finds the pick, and this actually thwarts the plans of Astralis. They wanted to try and make a play off the back of Magis taking map control. Instead, they're going to have to gamble in for it anyway. The thing is, though, zywoo somewhat rotated. He's going to run back in towards the truck, try to take the control back, and he lands the no-scope. Device on just 1 HP is going for the bomb plant, but his teammate is defending him to his last breath. It's Dupree on 49. Well, they've got 50 between them, that's for sure. Both players coming in from the same angle. RPK looking to try and potentially find something around the edge of the smoke. He's waiting for Shox to gain position around the stairs. However, the time is ticking. The tank's the one with a kit. He can defuse the bomb from inside, but he needs to try and find the kills, and Device only on 1 HP. He gets 1, and Dupree the other. These 2 players have been so good throughout this series.
So if Astralis do start to wrap back around through connector, zywoo can give the early intel, being that early alarm bell that rings out to the rest of his teammates. RPK's been sprayed alongside mousesports, and this is where things could get a little bit sketchy, but Shox in the off angle with the MP9, spraying down 2, trades up to the AK, and this round is still on the table. The bomb's been dropped out.
This shouldn't be working, but you know what? If Shox is going to pop off on overpass, I am not going to be a man to complain. Now, Apex still healthy. He's even going to peek out, and he's got zywoo alongside him to work one with the USP, and Shox.
As zywoo was more passive back towards the A side of long. 40 seconds though, Astralis still need to do something with this advantage. Throwing a smoke from A onto B to lock it down, and now the A side comes in. That flashbang could not have been placed any better. You can see that, and the entirety of that push was completely blinded. And now Vitality hold it down with the M4 of Apex and the AWP of zywoo. The utility there could not have been placed better for the Frenchman.
I think surprising the players on Astralis at least a little bit early, but there is with that rotational AWP finding the opener. In fact, Glaive's gone as well, and they don't expect mousesports. This is a cheeky little CT setup that almost baits some sort of security expected from Astralis. They don't check the angles properly, and Vince, well, I think a 1v4. If Device really wants that #1 in the world, I think he needs to go on better.
He's got the first, and he has time to play with. The CTs don't know where the bomb is. There's the second, but 30 HP remains for the Great Dane. He will be able to get the plant, so that will be an economic boost to the rest of his teammates. But can he do anything off the back of that? He's about to get pincered in. The timing about favors him, surviving on 9 HP. He can now relocate, but he's being flanked. The key member is RPK, and the Frenchman will show his hand. Nice try, Device.
His aggressive overpass plays, and he has timed this one to perfection. Coming round on the flank, the fake almost being sold. Ah! It's a shot! Okay, he got there in the end. Oh, and I need to breathe. God, take it away, Vince.
That was nearly pretty embarrassing, but Shox at least gets one. So he can fall back onto that. He's put himself and his team into a player advantage. RPK narrowly escaping death, but stands his ground. And Estetag runs in. But this is an interference play. He is trying to rummage together the CTs to the other side of the map. There is a rotation coming through, though. It's Apex getting around the back of the bomb carrier. And even if Glaive does get this entrant to zywoo, which is successful, Apex should shut this down right now. And Apex does just that. And this player stack with RPK is the last lifeline. The protectorate of the site. Device, though, probably forces out at least one rotation. At the bare minimum, keeps Shox interested. This isolates the 2B defenders. Shox at least stands his ground for one, but with 22 seconds left, here comes the main play. The main way forward for Astralis, and Masuta's gonna get two. Estetag Molotov off, can't really push in, and even though they take off the head of RPK, it may not be good enough. 10 seconds, smoke onto that Molotov. They push straight through, wild spray through the smoke, but Estetag, he's been silenced, and that's it. The round's over. There's not enough time for Mages. 10 rounds already to Vitality, and Astralis continue to struggle.
Win rate on this map over the last few months. Only one of them gets to keep it, and Vitality seem too hot to trot. Apex again. And it's not even just Apex. They've got two players in on this flank. Masuta, he's going to double up. Maybe they won't even need him if he continues this sort of form, but eventually the flank comes through. Now it's Dupree's turn. A 1 versus 4 bomb in his hands. He does have time, but he's not going to be given a moment's notice. Another couple of kills coming up for Shox, and an 11th round for Vitality.
Device. Nothing slow, nothing steady, but actually needs to be cognizant of Shox, who's playing incognito in the smoke and now shows his hand. At the cost of Device's life, and Vitality keep themselves a player ahead. Two remaining Astralis Danes are completely separate positions over the map. Could not be more isolated, and Apex now puts it down to Estetag, the lone survivor, who will be out the door momentarily. He's had a rough day at the office. On Overpass with just 3 kills, but can he double up his frag count? Can he pull off something special? He's missed his first chance. That could be his last shot as well. Goes in for the first onto RPK. He's losing health by the second. There's Molotovs coming down. Has to smoke to keep himself alive. And Apex drills him through the smoke. It's 12-3 to Vitality in our last map. Stay tuned. We said they were peak on Nuke. Since then, it's been a bit of a drop-off. But can they start to pick up the pieces on their CT side? As USP's up close against the blocks. Dupree is holding on for 3 kills alongside Mages. That's more like it. Apex tries to rummage around the back, and Glaive denies him. It's fast, it's lightning, but it works against Vitality.
Now, we've seen an aggressive push from Device. He can tell you quite clearly it's not going to be an A-site push. The problem is there's only 2 other players to try and defend this. He might be able to catch out Apex, but that's about it. Glaive, however, does already take down the injured RPK, but that flank is not going to be coming anytime soon. 20 seconds left. The bomb looks to go forward. The rest of the players hesitated. This extra little bit of time could be enough for Astralis to throw a spanner in the works. They've got to be careful. Estag is still here. He's looking to try and deny the bomb, but he's shooting the wrong player, and although he does a hell of a lot of damage, it doesn't really matter. Glaive, 1v3, looking for the clutch.
The mastermind of so many strategical plays on Astralis runs into the gauntlet of 3 Frenchmen, and it's Masuta.
They've got short control. They've got a 4th player, in fact, rotating in. The flashbang's fantastic, but S-Tag will only come away with 1. Device about to come under pressure. The peak coming out, the AWP shot landed. He goes back for the other player as well and catches Apex. Looking to do it all on his own. Sure, the next shot's missed, but he's bought some time for teammates to rotate in. It's left onto Shox, and he gets nothing done at all. Astralis with the reads. Vitality maybe slightly overthinking things here.
Magisk, aggression, something we haven't seen yet. Beautiful flashbang, they line up, and there's Magisk with a double spray. There's the 2 brains working together. Glaive with the flash assists, and Magisk executing to perfection. Vitality cannot get comfortable. They're being pressured, they're being punctured from left and right. And now Masuta, maybe he can take down Magisk up close, although his crosshair's a little bit off. Still goes in for 1. Oh, flick the cross to the second. And all of that opening exchange has now been nullified. Now Vitality can try and split and pick against Astralis and potentially go a player ahead, but Dupree with the AWP is too good.
RPK, I don't know how he gets past this angle without getting killed, and while the trade is attempted, but Glaive has his teammates back. Another in a row for Astralis, and 8 on the board. 4 kills not too long ago. Like, he's been really rising up the board, and although some of them have been relatively flashy plays, it's been a massive comeback from him. Glaive now gaining in confidence as well, making some similarly aggressive plays, and he even has S-Tag to support him. Sure, Masuta gets the trade just like the last round, but there hasn't been a second just yet, although I wouldn't doubt him at this point.
Apex and zywoo, with a vast test ahead of them. They will look to pivot into the site. See if they can envelop one of these areas, but Apex, his life has been deemed forfeit. zywoo briefly caught. So in he goes, realizing all these angles could have CTs residing in them, and it will be Device with the deagle that shuts him down.
We've seen him bring back a couple of rounds, but this time he's got the opener. And yeah, for sure, I think even on the CT side, he's got a good shout for being the best player. RPK, though, that could be a crucial opener. Glaive looking to come in from behind, but Shox is ready and waiting. A free kill for him, and the remainder of Astralis have no choice but to save. It's been a long hiatus from the board, as you mentioned.
Maybe at some point it's like, should I go for it? No, definitely don't do that. You may get forced down anyway. Playing a ring around the rosy, picks up the AK, so that's a nice takeout. Astralis can buy behind that, no problems. Of course, this is as a result of being 7-1 up until that point. You don't have any players pushing up around the back, but Vitality don't know this. They know they have to go in. The trigger about to be pulled. The execute in motion. S-Attack, though, devastatingly strong up close with the AK, forcing zywoo back. And with 52 HP to his name, he'll be hoping that he can do a bit of damage on his way out, but it seems inevitable that he will fall. Good first shot. His position now is not far off landing the smoke bang, which would have been pretty ridiculous.
I'd like to still be alive for tomorrow, where there's still plenty more action to be had, and then, of course, the big grand final coming up. We've seen them go for these slower pick-based rounds, but this time it looks like they want to put the pressure straight onto S-Tag, but don't peek his crosshair like that. I think he'll hit those ones all day long. And in fact, again, I love this from Astralis. The second they get a kill, they don't even bother fighting it at all. There's always counter utility. There's no opportunity for a trade whatsoever unless you want to toast your feet along the way.
I am absolutely mind blown. That seems like a fairly regulation kind of shot, right? But that reaction speed from S-Tag was unbelievable. That's not an angle that you expect to get dry peeked at that kind of a position. That's full focus for 15-20 seconds. Not easy to do. The second he was peeked, Apex had his head removed. 30 seconds left. Dupree taking control of Connector. This is massive for Astralis. He doesn't need to kill them all. He just needs to stand his ground a little bit longer, but he's gone down. And now that does put a couple of doubts, a couple of awkward moments in play, and zywoo capitalizes with 2 big AWP frags. But Glaive has guessed correctly. 12 seconds left, and Masuta on point with the entry. There's 4 match points.
This is where they need him most, and they're building up for a peek onto him. Masuta manages to dodge his way, and how has Shox got here? You mentioned S-Tag. He might have just had that lapse in judgment. That second missing the moment, but Dupree and Device, they combine. They hold the line. Apex having to run through the Molotov, but zywoo's hit the shot. And now it is on to Device. One of the greatest players of all time, trying to keep his team in the map. The flashbang's going to leave him completely blind. He's been spotted as well. The push coming in. He tags Masuta for next to nothing and can't quite hit the second shot. And zywoo is there to put him down. It is going to be the victory for Vitality as they make their way to another grand final. And Astralis have got to battle through the lower bracket.
Oh, that will be devastating to Tom. Hot off the back of his 16-4 win on Nuke, we all thought...